Okay, Shalom family. I wanted to share a dream that I had on October the 7th. It was really weird. So, this is the dream. It's short, it's not a long dream. Um, I had a dream that me and some friends, and the weirdest thing about it is that out of the many friends I knew was my friends and associates, I only remember two faces of those many people. So, we were sitting down in a group, just chit chatting. We were drinking sodas and stuff and water. Some had water, some had sodas, different drinks. So I'm sitting there. I'm standing up, and the rest of them like sitting down. We're outside a building. It was like downtown, but it was. I guess most of the people had gone home and everything, and it was kind of like quiet. So we're sitting there, and I looked up to my left, and I see an actual ship that came out of the sky real quick, just flew down real quick, and it hovered there over us. And I told the other ones to the right, my group of people, I said, look at the ship. So they stood up and they looked up and started staring, glaring at the ship. And you can see the people or whatever, whoever they were, standing inside the ship. And then all of a sudden, they start shooting rays at us. So we ran into this building. We took off running, and we found a building, and the door was open. It was unlocked. So we went into the building to hide. And so we lay there for a minute, and the rest of them they started looking around for somewhere to kind of like relax. So most of the people that was in the group went to sleep. In fact, all of them went to sleep. I was the only one left up. And what I was sitting by this huge window in the building, and I was looking out up in the skies, and all of a sudden I seen three other objects that was came from out of the sky just from nowhere, and they start hovering around the building that we were in, and then they start rotating in different type of positions and stuff. Two of them looked like a ship, but the third one looked like a car. It was weird. So they kept hovering. So finally they landed, and then all of a sudden the sky opened up again, and then there was ships just shooting out the sky, just flying by. I mean, real quick, like fire. And so I yelled out to them again, and I said, "Look, we're being invaded. We're being invaded." So I started going to the different rooms where they were sleeping, and told them what we need to do is we need to start gathering stuff together, because we may have to flee. And so, but the weird thing about it, one of the persons that was in that group was one of the YouTuber. I'm not going to say the YouTuber name, but he talks a lot. He's a real good teacher when it comes down to the teaching of the Bible in Israel and all this other stuff. I've been listening to him for years, but I'm not going to say his name. But he was in my dream. But the weirdest thing, when I went to go look for him, he was gone. He was nowhere in his room. So then I came out and just told them, look, we need to start packing. So we started packing and everything. And um, so while we were packing, there were ships just coming in real fast. I mean, they were fast. I mean, it like flashed like a lightning. And then I remember the last ship that came that flew by the window, I barely seen the face of the person. It was a shape of a face of a person. And so we took off. We took off running. I just thought that was such a weird, weird dream. Um, uh, I said, yeah, I yelled out to the rest of the people. I told them that there were bodies hanging from the sky. Yes, there were bodies also hanging from the sky. Because I have it written down. I had to wake up and write this. When I woke up, I had to write this down. So I first seen the bodies hanging in the sky. There was three bodies, but then I thought they were bodies, but they weren't. They were ships. Then that's when they start rotating and circling around the building, and finally they landed, made a landing. They landed on the ground, and then that's when the rest of the ships start coming in, just flying by, just whooshing by real fast. And They was approaching like really very, very fast speed, flashing by one. You can see their faces with helmets, and they had like large eyes. They were coming so fast, y'all. They were coming fast. All you can hear is a flash one by one, just really fast. And and like I said, then I yelled out to the rest of the individuals that we need to get dressed in case we have to flee. So I told the others, like I said, to gather their things because we may have to flee, so we can start gathering our stuff. Then I start, like I said, I start checking the rooms to make sure that everyone was preparing themselves to travel. But one of the person, which was a YouTuber, he was not in his room. He wasn't in his room. Then I woke up, and that was it. I just thought that was a strange. I had to share that. I've had other dreams. In fact, whenever I have them, I write them down. I remember one dream. It was like back in the maybe the early 2000s, like 2011, not mid 2000. I was let me tell you about this one. So this one was I was sitting on top of a high, like a step, but it was like really high. And that particular day was really misty. The day was like really misty looking. So I'm sitting up there, and it was a friend of mine that worked with me from the office that I was working at. She was there, and we're sitting there just talking and chit chatting. Then I looked up, and there was seven sun. Yeah, seven suns that was in a circle. And I told her, look at the suns. And all of a sudden, one burst in, one burst into flames, and then there was fire started shooting from the sky, and the ground started opening up. And next thing I knew, I was screaming. I jumped down, and everything turned dark, like pitch black. And all of a sudden, I started floating up. And then I woke up. I woke up and I was so afraid. I mean, my heart was palpitating like really fast. It was like so real. That was the one dream I had. I had another dream, and I was having a lot of these dreams at one point. I don't know why, but I was having them a lot, like every night. This other dream I remember, I was walking, just walking down a dark street, and in fact, the street that I was walking on was like 2 blocks from where I live. So I'm walking up this street. It's like really dark. So um, I this guy was walking towards me, and I started running the opposite way. So I started running down this dark street. There's really the moon was really bright that night in the dream, and I started running because he was after me, and then I looked up to the sky, and the moon was really bright, and there was an angel wing behind the moon. The moon was really bright. I turned around, and because I got really brave at that point, I got turned around. I started chasing him back, chasing after him, and then I woke up. There's another dream I had. I was with a friend, and she's passed away now. Her name was Laverne Germany, and we were chit chatting. Like always, I'm always chit chatting with friends and stuff, and can't remember what we were talking about. Just knowing that we were just talking to each other, and all of a sudden we was in a dark room, but we were separate. I was on one side, and she was on the other side. I kept yelling out, Laverne, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And she said, yes, I can hear you, but I can't see you. Then all of a sudden, I'm in a dark. It was like a cage. I wouldn't say a cage, well, almost like a cage, because I was standing there, and I trying to figure out where I was at. So I looked to my right, and there was a door opening with nothing but green trees, just pure green trees. And then there was another door to the left of me. It was closed. So I heard a voice tell me you have two choices. You can walk to the right where the trees was at, or you can walk to the left, to the right, to the left where the door is locked, because I don't know what's behind the door, and I have to walk up the steps to get to that door. And all of a sudden, I looked to the further left, and I seen the doorway to the cage that I was in, and it had brick pillars inside this place where I was at. And I looked further to my left, and there was a horseman, a giant horseman. There was a Roman soldier on top of it, and then you had slaves that was beside them, walking beside them. That was kind of weird too. So all of a sudden, there was an earthquake, and so I start swaying and everything, and the buildings, the cave starts swaying and everything. And then I looked further to the right where the green tree door was at, and there was a man with a white robe with long hair. And as the earthquake was shaking the cave, um, he started swaying back and forth, and I started swaying back and forth. And I knew I had to get out of there. So what I did was, again, it came to me. that you need to make a choice. So instead of me going to the door that was open where I can see in, and like I said, I seen the green trees and everything, I took the direction to the door that was closed, and plus I had to go up these steps. I walked up the steps real fast, ran up the steps, went to the door, and I stood there and paused for a minute because I wasn't sure if I wanted to go through. So finally, I decided to open up the door, and oh my God, it was so beautiful. The water was like crystal, like glass, crystal clear glass, and there was a lot of light. There was light, but I didn't see a sun. And I heard people chatting and talking, and children playing and everything. And so I walked around the water because the water was like a little lake, and so I went directly to the direction where I heard the voices because I heard a lot of people chit chatting, and I walked over there and I started chit chatting with people that I knew from my church, and I woke up. I can tell you many more dreams I've had. So, in fact, like I said, I wrote them down. So one of these days, I'm just going to grab my diary and just share some of the dreams that I had during that period because I had so many of them. I mean, like it was like almost every night. But like I said, I don't want to tell any more. I said I was going to go ahead and grab them because they've been put away for years, for the last several years. So I have to go back in my book and read them. But I did remember some of those. So, anyways, I thought I would share that particular dream that I had on the 7th of April. But like I said, I've had them off and on for the longest, but I hadn't had one in a long time. And so this one was kind of like, okay, it was a little different than the ones I had before because most of the ones I had before were real spiritual. Um, so anyways, tell me what you think. I thought I would share that. It was a weirdo, but I thought I wanted to share it anyway. So I guess I'll get off here and I say shalom and have a blessed day.